So it's still April 12th, Monday. It's around 7 p.m. when the curfew is in place, and there's hundreds of folks dispersing from the vigil at where Dante was murdered by the Brooklyn Center Police. Now, a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions. They've been saying, they've been referring to this as a shooting. They've been referring to this as police brutality. And what I want to inform everybody of is how important language is. And some people get, emails from work, or they get word from their people like, hey, there was a shooting in Brooklyn Center. Don't get it twisted. That was a public execution. That was a murder. That was the death of someone. That was the racial profiling of said black man killed in his car for no reason, unarmed. Add whatever other words you want to it that make it senseless. That's what it was. So if you just want to go with the verbiage of it was a shooting, that's as simple as saying that white settlers just moved into North America. No, they committed genocide to get here. So you want to use the right words when you're describing this. We're talking about murder. We're talking about public execution. The thing with language, which is so powerful, and I know this because I used to work for PBS, where they would use diluted and watered down language to detach white supremacy or race from stories to make it more comfortable and more digestible for their white audience. They would just remove the violence from it. But you can't remove the violence from what happened to Dante. So if you call it just a shooting, that removes what actually happened from it. So you have to keep it 100 all the way through and call it what it was. This was a lynching, a modern day lynching. You could say public execution, you could say murder. You don't necessarily need you don't need to wait for folks to legitimize what happened here to call it what it was. So first off, call that what it was. Secondly, they're saying this is accidental. When you use the word accidental, what you're doing is you're removing the actual culpability and accountability from what happened. So if I said, whoops, it was an accident, I went for my taser, but then I actually killed the guy, that removes all culpability, all training, the hundreds of millions of dollars that goes into the Brooklyn Center Police Department, just so they know what they're grabbing when they go for something to shoot. And then lastly, why did they pull this boy over in the first place? Why? Air freshener? Expired tabs? From the press conference that they had earlier today, what I heard from community leaders is that it was an unspecified reason why they pulled him over. And when they say unspecified, again, we're going back to language. They don't want to tell you that they don't know why they pulled him over. So when we talk about it, it's unspecified. It's because it was for no damn reason. And you want to go further with it? Pulled him over because he was black. You can't remove race from this. You cannot. And a lot of media outlets, the police department, the city manager, the mayor, the city council of Brooklyn Center will all try to remove race from this so they can acquit themselves of racism, of white supremacy, of committing a modern day lynching and being culpable of it today here in 2021. So language is powerful, and I'm really curious what y'all think. What words have you been given? What words have you been served to cover the violence of police, to cover the violence of white supremacy? What words have people used to really sugarcoat things? Put that in the comments below, and be very, very focused on the narrative and the words that they're using to surround this. This is something that should have never happened in the first place.